Welcome back, fellow Witchers, and welcome to the second episode of my journey throughout The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Next Gen. Now we'll be covering the first main quest of the storyline, and this one's called Lilac and Gooseberries. For those of you who like cinematics like I do, let me just tell you that I'll be talking as little as possible while cinematics are on screen, and I will mark them as chapters in all my videos throughout Witcher 3 gameplay, so you will be able to follow. But for those of you who don't like them and want to experience them on your own, well, jump to the next chapter where I will tell you what should you pay attention to during this quest.
I was relaxing in the tub, and next to me,
Triss?
Yennefer. Funny, isn't it? She's never been there. Seemed so real in my dream, though.
Was she nagging you about something? True to life, indeed. We'll find her.
I know we will. That's not what worries me. You've seen her tracks. She's at full gallop all the time. Breakneck speed through wild lands, devastated battlefields. She's in a hurry to get somewhere. Or fleeing something. Either way, it means trouble of some sort.
Be surprised if she wasn't in trouble. She's always poked her nose in beehives. Courtly intrigues here, mages' conspiracies there. What do you expect?
Don't know. Guess I thought once we were finally reunited, things would be calm. At least for a while.
Calm? With Yennefer? Good luck.
In the dream, I went and found Ciri. Then we trained.
Those were the days. Little she-devil. I've trained kids who were faster, stronger, but none had her character. Didn't end well, did it? Your dream?
No. The Wild Hunt appeared, attacked Ciri. I couldn't move, stood there like a stump.
It was just a dream.
That's the problem. It was more. In the past, when Ciri'd appear in my dreams, something was wrong. She was in danger.
We taught her how to defend herself from anything, wraiths included.
Be dawning soon. Time to go.
Wait. Show me the letter from Yennefer. Might have overlooked some hint in there.
Didn't overlook anything. We were meant to meet in Willoughby. That's what she wrote. Meanwhile, one army or another burned the village to the ground. All we can do is follow her trail, so...
Stop talking for a minute and give me the letter. How about that? It does smell of lilac and gooseberries.
You were gonna read it, not sniff it.
We must meet soon. Willoughby near Vesemir. Nothing else to guide us there. What's this postscript? I still have the unicorn?
That's private. Very private.
Aha, I understand. At least I think I do. Maybe not entirely, but perhaps that's for the best.
Back on topic. How's it look? How far behind Yennefer are we?
2 or 3 days. Trail's fresh, but it looks like it leads towards the main road. Could be muddled there. Wait, hear that?
I hear it. I smell it.
So the first scene is fight with the ghouls, but somehow I didn't record it, but nevertheless I've loaded the save and I wanted to show you this. You should look for this crystal skull. This is Yen's property, of course, just like Geralt thinks, and although it is not that important for the game and the story, you should take it and you will have one interesting dialogue with Yen later on while in Skellige. For the time being, you'll be riding with Vesemir, and you will soon see, well, the main objective of your quest, Lilac and Gooseberries. Now, all the early steps in White Orchard are basically some sort of an extended tutorial. You can see right now that the game will tell you how to ride Roach, your horse, and, you know, double press and hold left shift while moving to gallop, and so on and so forth. There are no really any tricks for riding your horse.
We going? Help me! Help!
Has it gone?
Yeah. Come out.
Gods, that was close. I was sure I'd end up like my mare.
Provided you got lucky.
Your horse died quickly, but griffins like to toy with their prey. Eat it, alive, piece by piece.
Oh. You'd like a reward, I suppose.
Now your entire gameplay will be filled with these so-called moral choices, and I've decided not to take anything from this merchant, and after all, although Witchers did scare off the griffin, well, they didn't fight it, and it is honorable to do so. Sometimes these choices may be more beneficial in the long run than just taking some small amount of crowns like you would if you'd taken it from this merchant. And yeah, we'll see this guy later in this video in the very end, and I will try to explain the thing I said right now.
There's an inn here in White Orchard, sole one around, gets its share of travelers. Perhaps you'll learn something there. Besides, the innkeep's my cousin. Tell her Bram sent you. She'll treat you like family.
Not a bad idea, especially since that wound needs cleaning.
Ah, beast barely grazed me. But sure, could use a good rye. Nice and cool, you know, straight from a cellar.
Let's go.
As the tutorial continues, we'll be learning about the bestiary. It is very useful, menu or sub-menu where you'll be learning about all your foes, all enemies, opponents you met. So, like, right now you faced with Griffin, well, you didn't, but let's say you did. You'll be able to learn how to cope better with Griffins through your entire gameplay. I have to be honest, I didn't read Bestiary all that much, but it is very beneficial and you'll be learning which signs to use, which bombs to throw at opponents, or of course it is very self-explanatory, but you will also learn which oils to apply to your swords. By the way, you just saw this new marker sign. This is your fast traveling post, and you will need to reach it for the first time before you'll be able to use it. So if you watch some Witcher 3 map on internet and you don't see these markers on your map, you just need to discover them for the first time before you'll be able to use them.
What? Take that down before there's trouble.
That is your coat of arms, the Temerian lilies. They've a right to hang there.
This ain't Temeria no more, old man. It's Nilfgaard now. My arse it is.
Witches?
I'll not drink with Weaverlaw's freaks.
Beg your pardon for those thugs.
No need. We're used to it.
Folk are jumpy round here. Armies just passed through. Now a griffin's prowling about.
Already had the pleasure. Ran into your kinsman, Bram.
Bram? How is he?
Alive. Sends his regards.
Master Witchers. Food and drink on the house. What can I get you?
Now, as you can see, there are some NPCs you'll be able to interact with, and this is your interaction menu. It is again pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy to use, but just remember one thing if you're playing on PC, of course. Hitting escape will not leave a dialog box. Now, why did I tell you this? It is not really important, but then again, it can be frustrating because we are all used to stop or leave menus on escape or start or whichever key you're used to using to leave menus, and even though this was my third playthrough, I still managed to hit escape instead of some number which will leave interaction menu. Now there's a bonus tip, let's call it tip, regarding innkeeps. If you're selling your junk, well, basically all useless things, it is better to sell them to innkeeps than merchants outside of inns. By the way, this lady will appear later in the game, but it is not important at all, still, just a fun fact. Now, when you see this for the first time, it may be a bit overwhelming, but it is not really. Left side is yours, right side is shopkeepers. She's selling these GWENT cards, and we'll be talking about GWENT in less than a minute. Now, if I would suggest you to buy anything from her, that would be buying some food, because it regenerates vitality. Oh yeah, if you were wondering why some texts are yellow while others are white, well, all yellow letters, yellow texts are regarding quests, so if you don't have time to chat with innkeeps or anyone, just hit those options and you will hear what you want to hear. However, I would strongly advise you to chat with everyone you can and take as much information you can. It might not be useful or essential many times, but still, if you want to, well, get a full picture of everything around you at the moment, just chat with everyone and chat as much as you can. Right now in the inn, you will learn some more basic things about the game, you will learn about GWENT, and you will also see why Axis sign and the delusion is very important for you to improve, because it will be useful throughout entire gameplay.
Black one's been out.
Yes? What is it, Wolf?
See you later, Vesemir.
What's about their patrimony? Give it to their own.
I'm looking for someone.
And we seek some peace and quiet.
Out of my face, freak. For your breath sours my beer.
Just want to talk.
You deaf, Stray? No one here will talk to you.
If it's company you seek, stick that mangy snout of yours in a trough with the pigs.
Show that shit-eater, Micah.
Raven-haired woman dressed in black and white. Seen her? Talk.
Folks say the lady rode through the village a few days back. Galloping so fast she knocked Radabor into a ditch.
Which way did she go?
Dunno. Lots of tracks leading off the main road. Could have gone anywhere.
Oi, people! The freak's taken Micah's mind!
Uh-huh, and I'll take your tongue if you don't shut up.
Now you just saw the practical use of X's sign, the sign all witchers know to use, and Geralt has a basic level right in the start of the game, but throughout the game you will face some more, let's say, stubborn NPCs, and you will need higher level of Xe delusion actually to persuade them to go your way. But this is not the time right now to talk about it. It is time to talk about Gwent. Right now you'll have an interesting chat with this professor, and after it finishes I will tell you something about Gwent.
Geralt of Rivia, Witcher with tenure. I'm looking for a woman. Long hair, dressed in black and white. Seen anyone like that?
Of course not. Unlike the populace, I know the horsewoman of war is pure poppycock.
Horsewoman of War? What's that about?
Folks say an omen. A beautiful phantom rides the fields at night, looks as you described her. Armies follow her, and all who cross her path meet with misfortune.
I can vouch for the last bit. Know where they saw her?
No, facts interest me, not fairy tales.
Not a place I'd ever expect to find a scholar. Take it you're fleeing the war?
Quite the opposite. Chasing it. I'm headed for the front.
Tired of life?
I seek knowledge, which I value more than life itself. I've a thirst no dusty old tomes can quench. I wish to see the Nilfgaardian invasion with my own eyes, understand it, and record it all in my chronicle, my magnum opus.
Interesting. We need somebody to describe war, what it's really like. Not colorful banners and generals making moving speeches, but rape, violence, and thoughtless cruelty.
Ah, I see you lack the polish of the Academy. Rape and cruelty are details of no import to the war's course. Trinkets on the garment of conflict, one might say.
Tell that to the people whose houses burned down. War reached Novigrad yet?
Nope, but it's only a matter of time. Nilfgaard on one bank, Redania on the other. Drooling over the city like dogs over a juicy bone.
Many a ruler's choked on that bone.
True. We value our liberty in Novigrad, and we know how to fight for it.
The scholars especially.
The sword is not the only weapon. Do not forget, architects from our academy designed the city walls. Walls no war machine has ever crumbled.
Gotta go. So long.
A moment, Witcher. You strike me as a man of the world. Are you familiar with Gwent?
No, and I don't have time to learn.
But the rules are quite simple. Come, let's play.
Why not?
Splendid! Here's how it's done.
So, the Gwent. This is a game inside the game, and if you want to learn how to play it, follow this tutorial. So your starting hand is consisted of 10 cards. You can redraw only 2 cards, but you should choose wisely which cards to redraw, or if you should redraw any. It depends on the strength of your deck, so sometimes you will get weaker card than the one you just removed from your playing deck, while sometimes of course you will get better. You can see right now that there are 3 rows for each side. So the first row represented by the sword is for close combat cards, the middle row represented by the bow is for ranged cards, and the third row is represented by the catapult, and it is for siege cards. Now I think it is too early to talk about strategies. Right now you should learn the basics. So how to win a round. So you see Geralt's avatar. Right from it and above his name is the number of cards you have remaining for the entire game. Right next to the number of cards you have are life gems, and these are representing how many rounds you actually lost. If you have 2, you didn't lose any. If you have 1, you lost 1, and if you are out of life gems, you lost the game. It's pretty simple. So how to win it? You have to have total strength of all your rows combined higher than the opponent has. Pretty simple. Now on the left hand side of each row you have the strength of the row, and you can see that all played cards are now worth just 1. Now in the beginning of the game's tutorial about Gwent were mentioned special ability cards and special cards, but it was too early in my opinion to mention them, so I will explain what happened right now. So you see that all the rows are now not clear but affected by some special cards. The first row for close combat cards is affected by the Biting Frost, so all regular cards are reduced to the strength of just 1. If this happens for the second row for ranged cards, then it is influenced by the special ability called Impenetrable Fog. And if it's the third row, then we have Torrential Rain, which reduces strength of all siege cards to 1. But right now on the screen we have the first example of exemption to this rule. You can see that these 2 cavalrymen of my opponent are actually worth 2, even though affected by the Biting Frost. Now these 2 cards are actually special ability cards, and this special ability is called Tight Bond. But we will talk about special abilities in some of next Gwent tutorials. Right now I will just tell you that there are 4 factions in the early game, and you will get another when you reach to Zan. So you have Northern Realms, you have Nilfgaardian Empire, you have Scoia'tael, and you have Monsters. Each of these decks has its strengths and weaknesses, but I would suggest you to play with the Northern Realms in the early game, just because it will boost its strength earlier. And if you want to know my favorite deck, probably Northern Realms. Just I prefer it a little bit more than the Nilfgaardian deck, even though I played both almost equally throughout this gameplay. Now I've just realized that this video is a bit too long, actually quite a bit too long, so I will make a separate video that will be a tutorial for Gwent. Now we will have just one more meaningful conversation before the end of this video, and Geralt will now meet Gunther Redeem for the first time.
Looking for a woman.
Like everyone.
Not like everyone. And not just any woman. Mine smells of lilac and gooseberries, dresses in black and white.
2 schnapsies. It'll lift your spirits.
Fine, I'll have a drink. Can we cut to the chase? You seen her or not?
Yennefer of Vengerberg.
Never mentioned her name.
Yet you described her perfectly. And once I hear something, I never forget. Can't help it.
What do you do? Who are you?
A mangy vagrant. Gaunter Redeem, at your service.
Vagrant. That a profession now?
Once a merchant of mirrors. The madding crowd dubbed me Master Mirror, or the Man of Glass.
How do you know Yennefer?
What a question. Master Dandelion's ballads, of course. The only way a humble merchant might hope to rub up against greatness. Unless, that is, he's as lucky as I am.
And runs into a very patient witcher.
Into Geralt of Rivia himself. The Butcher of Blaviken.
Recognize me from Master Dandelion's ballads too?
To your health.
You seen Yennefer?
Deepest apologies, but I must ask. Is this about love?
Guessed it. It's love.
I knew it at once.
What do you know? Tell me.
Before you appeared, it never occurred to me that might have been Yennefer. Who would have thought?
Get to the point.
An Nilfgaardian scout from the local garrison saw her.
Where?
At their camp. She rode in there. Dark of night. Black and white. Gooseberries and... Yes, I know. Had a terse exchange with the garrison commander and raced off.
Where to?
I'm not omniscient. Ask at the garrison.
Thanks.
We men of the road must stick together. Perhaps one day I'll be in trouble and you'll be nearby to help.
Now, you probably realize that this counter-redeem is not nearly the simple merchant as he's telling you, but this is not the time to tell you what he is. Right now we have another situation where you will be able to use EASILY. I didn't use it because this is actually a useful tutorial about fist fighting. You can use EASILY and cool off the situation, but these guys are irritating and they need to be taught some manners, and Geralt is the best person to do the teaching.
3 of you don't stand a chance against me.
What? I could fuck you up by myself.
If I had a bag over my head and my hands tied behind... Actually, no, not even then.
Chet, Lesh, back off. I'll teach this vagrant a lesson. Man on freak.
So, the fist fighting. There are 2 ways to avoid opponent attack. One is to dodge, and the other is to parry. Just like with the sword attacks, sometimes you should dodge, while in the other situations you should parry. You will actually fight against various opponents throughout the game, and sometimes it will be easier to just dodge, but usually, at least later in the game, I've opted to parry and counter attacks, because after you parry the attack, opponent is basically unable to defend. And actually, to be more precise, after parrying your opponent's fist attack, you will be able to strike him twice. So don't do more than 2 strikes after parrying, because the third will be parried by your opponent, thus making you open for his counterattack. Now, you see this merchant, this is the guy we met in the beginning of this video, and supposedly he will give you some discount on his merch. Well, he won't, because when I saw prices, these prices are actually endgame prices for all items he possesses, so he is not giving you the discount, but it doesn't really matter. And this is all for this video, guys. See you in the next one. Cheers!